Hi everybody, Chris Wood here, youth minister at St. Joe's, East York, coming at you with a little something new today. This is an idea I had to give a little reflection while at the same time me trying something new to eat. That may seem ridiculous, but as some of you who might know me know, I'm always trying different diets and different ways to be healthy because I'm progressively just gaining and losing the same weight my entire adult life. But I thought it would be interesting to make a video of me trying something that I've been wanting to try for a while because my research tells me it's healthy and good for me, but kind of weird. While at the same time, giving a little reflection for the day while I experience this thing. So what I have today is something that some of you might think is great and eat all the time. But what I have are sardines and mustard sauce. Now, like I said, for some people this is a very normal thing to eat. But I know some of you are saying, ew, gross, no way. Now, I am not in the ew, gross, no way category, but I hesitate. So, I'm a Maryland boy. I love fish. I love seafood of all kinds. I've eaten all kinds of sushi. I love it. I've eaten raw fish of many different kinds. I've had tuna tartare, completely raw. I just in Mexico had ceviche made with a barracuda that we had just caught. And for those of you who don't know, ceviche is when they mix a lot of other stuff with it, but the fish is cooked in lime juice. So it's a different way of preparing something, but it was delicious. And again, I wasn't scared to try that at all. I love anchovies. So in theory, this shouldn't be difficult for me, but for some reason, this makes me nervous. I'm a little scared, just a wee bit. I don't think it's going to be the flavor that's going to put me off, but I'm weird with texture. Texture gets me. There's actually some fruit that I don't like to eat because of the texture. Like kiwis and strawberries and stuff. It's something about the texture puts me off, although the flavor is good. So I'm a little nervous about this. I'm also going to eat sardines in front of you, which might be gross on your end, and if that's the case, I'm sorry. But my hope is that this will just be kind of a funny video, while at the same time I do a reflection. It's been a while since I've done any video content. I miss doing the Divine Mercy videos I did during COVID. So I'm hoping to get a little bit more active on this YouTube channel again. But here we go. So today I'd like to give a reflection to you while eating, for the first time, sardines and mustard sauce. So I'm just going to dive right in. Here we go. So today is the feast day of St. Francis of Assisi, which is special for me here because I work at St. Joseph's in East York, which is a church that is run by the Franciscans. The Capuchin friars are here, the dudes in the brown robes, and their order was started by St. Francis of Assisi. So it's a special day for us here at St. Joe's in East York. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But first, I'm going to open this can. And the smell is something I'm concerned about. But I'm going to open it now. Oh boy. There's fish in there. It's fish in there. It's fish. It's fish. All right. Lid is off. Throw that in the trash. So that's what I got. I don't want to tilt it too much because I'll spill fish juice on my desk. All right. So I like mustard. and I like fish, but for some reason this scares me. So, St. Francis lived a long time ago, and what's tricky about St. Francis is he did not... Goodness, it just falls apart. Oh, Lord. St. Francis... St. Francis didn't write a lot of things down. There are many biographies of his life. People, have different opinions about which one is better. The only real thing I've read is this book. This is Francis of Assisi's The Essential Writings, and this is a book of the things that he did actually write. So I started there, and I've been dabbling, checking out some biographies, but that book has been pretty powerful just to understand his thoughts. So I got to eat this now. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. I don't want to talk with my mouth with food in it. Tastes like fish with mustard in it. Whew. It's like my body wants to be revolted, but it's not, and like I'm confused. Let me try it again. Here we go. Okay. I mean, it's not the best thing I've ever tasted, but it's fish. Now, some sardines come like whole with the heads on. I didn't get those because I don't think I can do that yet. Maybe one day. So this is just boneless fillets. That's not bad. But back to what I was talking about. So we don't have a lot of what he actually wrote down, said. But he wrote this rule, right? Mainly, it was a rule in the beginning, for people who wanted to be friars, right? To join the Franciscan order with this specific way of living life. And there's other, he wrote another one for lay people, and I'm condensing this big time, but man, it's really fishy. It's like an aftertaste. I don't have anything to drink. Oh well. So he lived this life of sacrifice, right? So, and again, I could go into some of his backstory, but he wasn't born poor. He was born into, from what I've read, like a good family. He lived a life of luxury for a while. He did that life. So one of the things that I think is relatable to him is the fact that he wasn't one of those stories of a very pious child that, of course he's going to be something one day. He lived a regular, well, actually kind of, not a great godly life for a while. And then he, at some point takes his faith seriously, and he, starts this order. And the thing that I reflect on, I got to take another bite. It's fish with mustard. I wish I had something to drink, though. The thing that I wanted to talk about was, since I've come here to St. Joe's and worked, since I've come here to St. Joe's and worked with, started working with these Capuchins, these Franciscan friars, I've wondered, how can I live that lifestyle, right? If you don't know, Franciscan friars, Capuchins, they don't own anything. They live in community. They don't own anything. The order, their organization owns things. So they have cars to drive, they have money to spend for essentials, but it's not their personal stuff. The habits that they wear, those brown robes, they're technically not theirs. Everything is part of the community to be shared, which leads to them not having a lot of stuff, right? Even as a group. But that's the point, right? Because it's all about, in our spiritual life, not being not being attached to worldly things. So from what I've been learning, I can see that the Franciscan way of life is very much a life living the Gospels more literally. So they're literally giving up everything they own and following Jesus, which is what Jesus called his disciples to do, right? We read that in the Gospels that that the apostles had to give up everything and drop everything and follow Jesus. And we're in a way called to do the same thing. Let's take another bite here. I'm going to keep eating this. I mean, it's not bad. This isn't gross by any means. It's just not that good. I thought it'd be saltier. There's some fishy after. Ooh, it's like it's good, and then it hits you with this fishy fish. But I can see for these Franciscan friars, right? They've done it. They've given up. They don't own nothing. They don't have nothing personally. They just rely on their order of the church to provide for them, and which allows them to more fully give themselves to people, to God, but ultimately to serve their community, right? That's why a lot of times you see Franciscan orders in poorer areas, right? That they're called to serve the poor, and they can do that more effectively because they've given up everything, and that's their main focus, right? Like that's one of the reasons why it's so great having them here. While this is a larger parish in a nicer neighborhood, we are adjacent to York City, which has a lot of poor people. I ride my bike through York a lot on the rail trail, and I ride past people often that are sleeping outside under tarps, and not just homeless people, but there's also just people in York who are getting by but are still very much in a pretty aggressive state of poverty. But what I always wonder is, what I've been praying about a lot and talking to my spiritual director about and stuff. Sorry, it's fishy. Is how can somebody like me live that life more? Because I can't give up everything that I own. I can't do that. I have a wife, foster kids sometimes. We may adopt kids when I have a family. I'm a husband and on and off again foster father, so I can't sell everything I own and do that. It's just not what I can do. So I wonder, how does that life get lived out for the lay person? Now, there is a whole order of lay Franciscans, which I am not one of them, and I'm sure they have answers to this. But in my process of discerning this on my own, I have to eat more of this fish. Oh, it's the point of the video. It just falls apart. Whew. It's not gross. It's just not very good. Okay. It's like the first bite is like, and then it gets this fishy. It's starting to get gross. What was I saying? Lord. Ooh. Okay. I'm wondering how I can live this out in my own life. And I think the answer is what the answer always comes to is detachment. Detachment. So when you read the story when Jesus is calling the apostles originally, right, and goes up and is like, come, I'll make you fishers of men, drop your stuff. They did it. And that's very impressive. And these Franciscan friars, they did it, right? These guys, they have this calling, and they went like next level. And like I said, they don't own anything. They gave up everything to serve God and the church and to serve their neighbor. But what I see in that gospel reading that is truly special is not that the apostles gave up this stuff. It's that they were willing to when Jesus called them to do it. So what that means for me is, for me as a married person, foster father at times, it means not the fact that I need to just give everything away, right? Like people will read books like Happy Are You Poor and study Franciscan spirituality, and I've talked to people who've like had to overcome this overwhelming desire to just sell everything they own and like live in their house with nothing. But it's not as, if I was single, I guess I could pull that off, but I can't do that as a married person, and we can't do that as husbands and fathers or as wives and mothers. Like, it's just not doable. So, but I think what it comes down to is not doing the action that the apostles did, because we can't, but the willingness to do it if called to do it. The willingness. I'm going to eat another bite of this. Whew. It's like, at first it's like, mustard. And then, there it is. Fish. Fishy fish. I was going to eat the whole can. I don't know if I can. Ooh, my nose. Sorry, gross. So that was the point I wanted to make. We look at the life of St. Francis, very inspirational. He calls his followers of his order, sorry, my nose is getting weird, to follow the gospel literally and give up everything. And that's what these guys do. I'm sorry. That's what they do. But again, like us lay people, husbands, fathers, wives, mothers, we can't do that in that way. So I think what it comes down to is not having excess. Like we can, I'm working on that too, like giving of ourselves as much as we can. Because again, being husbands, wives, mothers, fathers is a big sacrifice in itself. But I think, I think what it really comes down to for us as lay people is having the willingness to have that detachment to where, yeah, we have a house, we have a bank account, we work on our retirement plans, we have a car, maybe we're going to go on some vacations with our families, we're going to buy a camper. But the question is the thing is it's not that we need to give up all those things. It's that we need to be detached from them in a way that if we are called to let those things go, to better follow Jesus, are we willing to do that? Are we willing to answer the call like the apostles did, in whatever way that is? I think that's the trick. That's the trick for us lay people, for us married folk, is can we answer the call when called? Because God has a plan for us, and that plan can include a lot of nice things. And we shouldn't feel guilty about having those things, but again, the problem comes when we're attached to them. Like Megan and I this summer bought a pop-up camper, and we really enjoyed it. We were only able to go on a couple long weekend trips, but we really liked it more than I thought I would, at least. I knew Megan would like it, but I wasn't sure. I'm a little fussy sometimes. Again, detachment. I'm working on it. But loved it. We had a great time. Great couple trips, especially in Chincoteague. It was awesome. But the question is, like, can I let that go? Right? Like if next summer I'm called to do certain things that don't allow me to go on as many or any trips with that pop-up, which I really want to do. Like, I can't wait to go again. Am I going to be upset? Am I going to be sad? You know? It's about, like, again, it's kind of about where our happiness and our joy comes from. Is it coming from these things, or is it coming from God and living out his plan? Is it material wealth or spiritual wealth? What are we gaining from? So that's just my little reflection. St. Francis of Assisi's feast day, and I think a lot about him ever since I started working here and I'm around these guys. It's been very inspirational to me, but I'm an extremist, so it's easy for me to want to run full sprint and just like, I want to get rid of everything, have 2 t-shirts, 1 pair of pants, you know, get all rid of all this extra stuff. And I definitely can purge some stuff and give it to the poor, right? I have extra clothes, you know. There's things that I could do like that, but I don't think, you know, from the time I've spent thinking and praying about this and talking to people about this, I don't think it's that we're called as married people to just give everything up, right? We're just supposed to be willing to give up whatever God asks us to give up so we can better follow him. It's detachment. It's always detachment. Detaching from worldly things. That's kind of, it's the big one. And it's the difficult one, especially for us in this American culture of excess and more and climbing the ladder and having more stuff to be happy. But we all know that only true happiness and joy comes from the Lord. And it doesn't come from sardine with mustard sauce, because I'm struggling. I'm going to eat another bite. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. See? Mustard. And then wait. Here it is. Fish. I'm going to eat this whole can. I promise. I don't like food waste. I think that's something that's not Christ-like in a way. Priest friend said to me once, every scrap of food you leave on your plate, you've stolen from the poor. Which is an aggressive statement, but I can see the truth in it. So I don't like food waste. It's becoming more of a thing for me of late. I am going to eat the rest of this. I'm not going to throw it out. I promise. But I was turned on to sardines because they're high in protein and healthy omega-3 fats, right? Because we all know that we do need some healthy fats in our diet, and I try to eat as little carbs as possible. So people on diets similar to mine, keto, carnivore type diets, or I try to do at least, they eat things like this because it's not that bad. I could see how it would be better with crackers, but I can't eat the crackers. Try not to eat carbs. But that's why I wanted to try these. And I will get them again. They don't expire till 2025, so they're great for storing, because now post-COVID, we all know it's good to have a little extra food downstairs for when things get scary at the grocery store. But yeah, that's it. I just thought it would be kind of funny for y'all to watch me try to eat something weird while I do a little reflection. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you are having a nice feast day of St. Francis of Assisi. It's very rainy here where we are, but it's still a beautiful fall day. We desperately needed the rain around here because it was a bit of a drought, so we can be thankful for that. But again, my encouragement to you is to, when you pray tonight, just to ask St. Francis of Assisi to intercede on your behalf to help you be detached from worldly things. You don't need to give up everything you own. We just need to be willing to do what God calls us to do, no matter what that is. It's just the willingness to follow him and trust him and to let go of worldly things when called. That's it. I hope to see you around. I'm going to do some more videos down the road. If you like this video, hit the like button. You can subscribe to my channel, or you can just delete me and never watch this again because it's gross to watch some big bearded hairy dude eat fish. Sorry. I love you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.